All right. Okay. This is a quick one. I'm just doing this because I think it's good to be consistent about updates or about new thoughts. And I'm tired of like updating my HTML file every time I make a new thing. Um, but I've been trying to. So I have my core set of enemies, my core set of targets, right? And in light of that, like I have this core concept, and it's not enough for a full game, right? It's not enough for multiple kind of patterns or like there's no nuance to it, right? There needs to be a little bit more, like in each game, right? If there's one enemy type, there's got to be like variations on it, and I kind of already do that, but it's not perfect. And so I've been trying to think about like how do I do that? How do I create variations on what I've already made? And I that's what I'm working on, mostly fine tuning, trying to fix everything for the eventual quote unquote demo, beta, alpha, whatever the hell this thing actually is, right? Who knows what it is? Um, and I've been bad about this because I was busy. I went to locals, and is this like my excuse every time? I went to locals. I went to locals, and I played Reload, and then I labbed some Reload stuff later, and then I didn't do anything. But I actually did do some stuff. I did some stuff. So what I did, and we'll move forward a bit. Where's thing? So what I did was I created this new type, and I think this is interesting. So we have this type. We'll go back a bit right here. It's this these little suicide guys. These guys that kill themselves and do suicide bullets, right? Bam. So they kill themselves. They put a bullet, and then they have an orb. They're carrying an orb. And I think this is nice. So the gameplay is built around orbs, or it's built around like these things that fire bullets. The orbs themselves are the bullets. They're the generators of the content, right? And so the concept is like the smallest version of these things, the suicide ones, the ones that self-explode, they're made of orbs, and the bigger ones are the ones that hold orbs and they fire things. So when I'm creating variations, I'm thinking about like how can I make use of this concept in a very like organic way that makes sense within the system. So I thought, why not have a situation in which the guys that move in fast, like these little fast guys that fly in, why not have them hold orbs, right? And when they die, the orbs float, right? So bam, here. So I also changed some settings. So earlier on in the earlier builds, it took a lot longer to it's not that it took longer. It takes 20 shots to get the orb to fire, but the cooldown was a lot longer. So it felt like if you were firing on the orb, you'd get nothing. So I changed the cooldown. I lowered the cooldown to like 1 second, maybe 0.5. I can't remember what I changed it to. That means that so every time you fire 20 shots into an orb, and then it resets. Then you fire more 20 shots, and then it fires. It fires a little ball, right? And these little balls, and they're different each time. And I might change this pattern. So my original idea. Oh, this is kind of messed up. How these the homing shots. I might change how these bit homing shots work. I'm not really totally happy with them because like the way I program them, they're very 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 scatterbrained. But anyway, so these orbs come in, they fire. If you fire in the orb, they fire the laser, and then they have their own pattern, and I think that's interesting. Let's create patterns that are not just based on enemies, but also based on objects in the environment, and that allows me to create more environments that are more like they're more tuned to the expression of the scene, right? So like I can, based on how I lay out patterns, I can put in this enemy that carries this orb, maybe Maybe it'll be a challenge for you to like, oh, well, I could maybe score really high with these sections, right? So there's a lot of options here. So they fire. I might change this pattern. I'm not in love with it. It's kind of, if you watch this, it's kind of weird evading it. And it might just be the speed. The problem is, in this situation, if you look at my bar's gonna be in the way. I'm basically at max rank. So I mean, max rank is not gonna be the perfect way to describe this. I think 1 rank at like half rank would be the purest form of it. But anyway, so you can fire, you know, get hit, right? So we'll go back a little bit. We'll see again. So we're here. Oh, a little bit further here. So we're firing, right? Get hit. I'll go back a little more. Beginning. So we see there's a lot of opportunities here to rank up score, right? Because like these beams multiply score. You know, it's and then bam. I mean, I got hit here. Now you could also use this too. You could maybe make use of this orb to kill these guys, maybe with the beam. I don't know. It's possible. It might not be possible. The orb goes away though, so I like that. Originally, I had the orb kind of float back, and I was like, it's kind of, it doesn't make any sense because like the orb is manifested by the body, right? So why have it just like float away? So I think it's more interesting to do this where it exists, and then it's just at some point, like how long does it last? Like if we go back here. This thing appears at, what, 48, 47 seconds, right? So we really look at this. The orb only lasts about maybe 10, 15 seconds. It fires its shots. It fires 3 shots. And then it just dissipates. So it was like, what 48 to, it's about 20 seconds. I think that's fine for a setup, right? That's sort of creates an environmental situation. I'm not totally sure about this, and the stage is not really perfectly thought out. There's a lot of things that I'd like to do. There's obstacles here, which I don't think are telegraphed well. You know, I telegraphed them. I'll go back, right? So we had this telegraph here. We had the object thing, but it's not really well. It's not really like well played. It's not well informed. It just gives you an idea. Just maybe I might remove this hitbox. I'm not sure. This one is a little more informed because it's jutting out a lot more. So I'm not sure. I'm not totally like. I think this is a lot more obvious in the context of the game. The other one is a little more. It's a little too ambiguous. And in situations where there's terrain, ambiguity is not really desired to some degree. I mean, it's hard to say. But again, so here in this example, again, you know, you fire on the orb. That is the concept of the game. I get hit. That's part of the nuance, at least the either nuance or brokenness of this system, where the way you move, you know, you can think you're going to you're moving down. Remember, your hitbox is here, your absorption is here, so you know you can move down and get hit by things. So you have to be very mindful about where you're situating yourself. And I've kind of reworked some of these waves. I kind of reworked some of these waves a bit, so like I'm trying to rethink positioning in a lot of things. So like I reworked the beginning, and I like this beginning a lot more with this section. And I mean, it's hard to say, you know, I'm working a lot of solutions to my own like I create problems, right? So the thing is, when you design a game, you're creating opportunities for people to do things, and it's not necessarily that like what you find is the solution. You're creating something with like the idea that there is an opportunity. Like, so if I make a character for a fighting game, right? Like I have ideas for how things should chain or how things should combo, but there's an opportunity for people to develop more tech, right? Because there are things that I might overlook. And when I design patterns, I'm trying to think about, like, I want to create something that leaves open opportunities. So there should be a solution. Like, there should be in every situation a solution to everything. Like, when I'm designing a boss, there's like one solution to the boss, right? Because the boss has to be beaten a certain way. Like, the boss has a certain hitbox or whatever, right? The boss, but there should be opportunities for people to find things that I couldn't find, right? And that's hard to make. That's hard to do. It takes a lot of iteration to really come to that. But that's what I really enjoy about making things. Is like, that's why I come from fighting games. Is what's really fun. And arcade games are all like this. It's this. I make something. I can play it. It works. Bam. 3. Gradius 3. Kind of like you hit the checkpoint. The devs probably had some save point on some stage, and they figured something out. But it's not organic, right? So, like, when I'm thinking about it, I'm not trying to go like the Gradius 3. This game is hard, and the devs, I don't think the devs could have beaten the game. 1cc, not problem. The issue, though, is that we want to make something that's fun and challenging at the same time. And so, like, the dev is not going to be perfect. The dev's not going to be the end-all, buy-all. But the dev needs to leave some room for there to be an opportunity to grow the game, to challenge the game. So, I mean, it's like a slight thing. Like, Garo is so fun because Garo has so many bugs that are sort of like overlooked. There's so many input things, and just the way the inputs are buffered that are overlooked by the devs that make the game so interesting. And I really like that, and I want there to be some openness to things I make, because I want people to be able to iterate and experiment on these things. So I'm really open to kind of creating these more open situations. And maybe I'm not trying to tell you to use the orb necessarily. I don't want it to be like a tutorial thing, because I'm going to use this is a new type of enemy. This is an enemy that I'm going to iterate on in further points. But I want to think about, like, I don't want to make more models. I want to kind of like use what I have, because I'm tired of like 3D modeling. I'm done. I made all my bosses. I made all my enemies. I kind of want to like try to iterate with what I have and make something new with basic stuff, without like doing like palette changes or whatever, palette swaps. I mean, we palette swap back in the day, but I don't want to do that. I want each iteration of a situation to be fresh. I want it to be different. I want it to come from the same rules, but sort of kind of develop them. So I mean, that's my thought. It's not gonna be perfect. Everyone can flame me when I get this. Oop! I slapped the mic. Everyone can flame me when the demo's out. I don't care. I'll probably still make the thing, but I'm hoping that I can create something that's at least like interesting. So hopefully that'll happen. If not, it's whatever. It doesn't matter. The music's still good, so it doesn't matter. All right, out later, guys. Eventually, I'm gonna say I'm really bad at this. I'm really bad at like setting dates, because I originally set my original date to be like August, and I decided that August was well, I mean, I didn't get it on August because I had a lot of optimizations to do, a lot of shader stuff to do, and now that I really like set that done, I really want to fine tune stuff. I want to get like the first 2 stages like feeling really tight, and I'll probably change them later, but I want to get like my idea is I want to get a good idea of the mechanics set. So like I want to create something that really gels with the mechanics, so that people can use all of these tools and then give me a lot of feedback. if I half-ass it, if I half-ass the demo, then I'm not going to get the feedback I need on the mechanics. So I really need to hanker down, really, like, get these waves to be perfect. And I really want them to really cover all my bases. Because if I can challenge every mechanic, put these, like, waves in that are maybe unbeatable, I'm not sure, like that with that wave that comes out of this orb, you know, it's kind of weird, but that's good, because a little challenge, and we want to test everything. We want to test the mechanics so that we can confirm that they work. Because if they don't work, the question is, do they work, do they not work because of the bullet pattern? Is it because of the situation, or is it just the mechanic itself? And are there situations where the mechanic is better in some situations? Because then that can confirm that my problem is more just my placement, my enemy placement, or my waves, our juice, or whatever, my patterns. Because to create something that really fits with the system, you need to really test it. So hopefully, you know, we'll get that figured out. But anyway, I'm rambling. Later. Thanks.